Yo, what is good? Yo, what is good? It is. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Got that out the way?
Yeah. Yo, what is good? We are back for this week's Drop podcast. I almost forgot the name of my own podcast. So forgive me.
Drop.
I am Sidney Smith. This is Mr. David Greaves over here.
Sir.
We are back, man. It's going to be a fun one. We got a couple different things we're going to jump into. I was just on the road. I'm back from that. We're going to jump into some Larry Johnson talk, and it's Halloween, so we got to talk about Halloween costumes. But before we do that, I want to make some room for my brother over here because he is a very successful man in his own right. Over here has his own company, David's Mark.
Yes, sir. Firearms training in Arizona.
Thank you for stepping on me over there to make sure I didn't mess up. Yes. So good work.
Teamwork make the dream work, sir.
But can you, like, what I was trying to say before was I loved your class because there was so much information that you gave. And you guys do such a great job of delivering it, you and Justin. And that there's so many people I've met who need to get re-upped on their training. Mm-hmm. And there are people that you see who come out because they know they need to re-up on their training. How important is that for a lot of people out there who may be thinking, do I want to go get this or not get this?
Well, a lot of times we have people who are already firearms owners. And you know, I carry, but the laws change all the time. Mm-hmm. Also, there's new information on how to be a better firearms carrying individual. Mm-hmm. Let me say it that way. Mm-hmm. So you should always learn or be willing to learn something new.
Right.
Just in any job that you do.
Right.
Or anything that you do. And in carrying and defending yourself and your family and your loved ones, you need to learn how to do it better, smarter.
Right.
Or with a better technique.
Okay.
Which is always updating.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are doing it, and more people need. It's not as simple as I'm gonna go out and get something and carry something, no. And then when the time comes, I'm gonna know what to do and not know what to do. I was amazed with some of the knowledge that I gained from you was how dramatically different things can be for a person who's firing as they get further and further and further. Even if you're as close as you think you need to be. Your aim or anything can happen, yes. in especially if you are being confronted yes. by another individual.
Which is how it's going to happen in real life. It's going to be a chaotic situation. It's not going to be where you're standing at the target and you stand down the line and you're just perfect. No, it's going to be blood, sweat, tears, emotions. Your heart rate is going to go up and down. Right. So there's a lot of things that come into play that you don't think will come into play. Mm-hmm. You know, again, what clothes do I have on? Is my shirt bigger? Is it tight?
Right.
All of these things come into play when the real life situation happens. Where are my kids at?
Right.
You know, if you're in your house and something happens, again, the alarm is going off. It's 2:00 in the morning. You're out of a dead sleep. You're not perfectly, 8:00 in the morning. I've had my cup of coffee. It's going to be different. So
right. And we don't want, and no one wants to have to, but you're getting it because you want it just in case you do. Yes. And if you're wondering why we're speaking about this topic in code, because, the algorithm is a bitch. All right?
He said it.
Hey, they're going to change it next week anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So it don't matter what I say.
Facebook be killing me right now.
Oh, man. You were asking me before I screwed up the last time we were trying to shoot this thing. How was the trip?
Yes. How was the trip? Let's do that again. How was the trip, sir?
I love Columbus. I do. I had a great time out there. It's my second time being there. First, I tell people all the time, my brother Vince and I, and some of his friends, Brad and a couple other fellas, we went down for Michigan State, Ohio State weekend. Okay. And I was a little nervous about going because, if you're from Michigan, you know the rivalry between that state and Ohio. But we went and we had a great time. It was one of the best road trips I've ever taken. So I expected nothing but greatness in terms of people and so on and so forth. This trip, which was for work, and I couldn't been more happy about it, bro.
I'm gonna have to get out there.
Yeah, man. I told the folks out there that I met that I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna bring the wife, and we're gonna hang out for a weekend. Beautiful. And just hang out in the city and hit the museum and do all that stuff. But it is a really, really, I say, and to anybody out there who may be in that area, we are the best people. Midwest folks are the best. So I love it whenever I get a chance to be around a lot of them. I saw you over here nodding like you want to say something about y'all over in New York or something. Talk that trash. I mean, a New York person would not be New York if they didn't find some way to step in your spotlight. So there it is. There it is. So I had a great time, man. My boy Burke, Zafiro Burke, his son is Denzel Burke over there playing at Ohio State. One of the top cornerbacks in the country. Can't wait to see what happens for him on draft day next year.
Yeah, next level.
Because he'll definitely be playing on Sundays. So, but I had a great time. We had some great seats. I think I want to say we were fifth row off of the field at the 40-yard line.
Oh, perfect.
So it was nice. Bracelet to get onto the field, got down there and took some pictures and all that kind of stuff.
VIP treatment.
Oh, man, it was, you know what?
Supposed to be.
If you're a comic or if you're anyone, hell, if you're just a human being now, we just want to share everything. I'm not that much of a share, but for work, I try to. I'm not that much of a share on social media.
Oh, okay.
On social media?
No, not on social media.
Yeah, I mean, unless it has to do with work and whatnot.
Yes,
I'm not
sure.
You're not gonna see a bunch of pictures. Yeah, I was about to say what you talk about. You just overshare if there's one between the two of us. But I try to share the photos of me being in the stadium,
basking in the sunlight,
the horseshoe. You know, and I had people coming at me, man. Yeah. You know, my boy Matt said, "Oh, I guess you got another team you're a fan of," and things like that. I'm like, I'm a guest, man.
Yeah, again, why shouldn't I enjoy somebody else's home when I can?
Yeah,
it's a mansion, so why wouldn't I put my feet up in the mansion?
If you invite me to your house, when we come in and just piss on your couch, no, I'm a guest. You come in and act accordingly. So I had a good time. Everyone was really chill. One of my favorite spots, though, which is why we stopped the last time because I wanted to make sure I got the name, was the cigar bar La Chavita.
I can't wait. I'm definitely going to make a stop there. That's going to be one of them stops.
That whole crew over there, man, Don Juan and Cortez, all of the fellas and the ladies, everybody was so chill. One of the best parts about my visit was my first day that I was there. I stopped in there with Burke. He had some people who had bought tickets, so he wanted to make sure they got them. And I just sat, man. I chilled for a couple of hours and smoked a cigar and had drank and do what men do. We were talking about it. I feel like the cigar spot is what the black barbershop used to be when I was growing up.
Yes. For a grown man.
Yeah.
Grown man.
Yeah.
You know, you could be a grown man in a cigar bar, even if you don't smoke, just sitting there, just relaxing and talking about life.
Yeah.
Because the barbershop now has got a little bit of, cuckoo craziness going in there. Sometimes you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be safe in here.
Right.
So.
Right. You go to the cigar bar and have those same conversations that you used to hear your father and your grandfather have when you was a little kid coming up and getting your hair cut.
If you're smart enough, you just sit back and listen.
I was about to say, because they saying some shit you wasn't supposed to be hearing.
Yeah, just listen.
I remember, being walked out the barbershop and like, yo, everything you heard in there.
Just stay in there. Yeah, don't repeat nothing. Yeah.
Don't tell your mama or tell your auntie or whatever. Yeah. So I had a great time, man. And the fellas over there and the ladies, again, want to make sure you get props. So one of the best things was I stopped in, hung out for a couple of hours, and then they said, we're coming tomorrow. And if you've been doing anything like either one of us, because you get it too with your line of business, I'm going to take a class. Mm-hmm. And then people just never do. Yeah. Well, not only did they say they were coming, they came and they brought more people.
Oh, beautiful. That's how you do it.
And a shout out to Justin, the owner of the cigar bar as well, came out with his lady. So it was nice, man.
Perfect. Beautiful.
And
number love.
Yeah. And so I had to go back there afterwards for the after party, if you will. Mm-hmm. And they were a little bit surprised that I was a man of my word and I came in, but it was a good time and it was good. I think the longer I'm doing this, the more I'm learning to not take people for granted in terms of what I do and how much they support it. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense.
I tell you all the time, you do a great job of doing that as a friend. That's why when you asked me, I was like, definitely. But I knew that when you asked me, that it meant I had to be here.
Right.
I couldn't call you and be like, bro, I don't feel like it, I'm tired. No, if I said I was going to do it, because you're a man of principle.
Thanks,
so
man.
In your friendship, you reach out, you check on folks, you genuinely care about those that show you that they care about you.
Yeah.
So,
because it is. I don't want to get down this road, but we're going to go down this road, but I want to come back to this because there have been enough times in my life when I needed people that I had looked out for or I had shown concern for when I could, that now when I need it, it's not reciprocated. And you're right, because I don't forget about that. Mm-hmm. But I also am more accepting of people now who want to show the same in return.
Yes.
Because before it was no big deal. I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I give. Yes. Okay, now today I need, yes. And you got nothing for me.
Bypassing gas stations is what my pastor says all the time. Pastor Jay, when there's a gas station, and because we pour out so much, we forget to stop at the gas station. So we'll see a gas station and we'll say, oh, I can go to the next one. I can go to the next one. And then you're at a quarter tank and you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's 15 miles and I only got 14 on my tank. So stop and get filled up. So when somebody, because for me, it's also was really hard to receive love and care back. Like if somebody showed me, oh man, you did a great job. No, it ain't me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like praise or to be in the light.
Right.
But, which is surprising because I'm really.
I don't want, and for me, I had to learn the difference. I don't want you to feel like if I do something for you, you have to do something back.
Yes.
Because that's not why I'm doing it. I'm not that type of person. But pastor calls it filling up. My mother would say, accept those blessings.
Yes. Same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time you don't accept your blessing, you may be stopping from someone else from receiving theirs in return.
That was the hardest thing for me to understand and learn as a minister, was that when people would be like, go here, pastor, and I'd be like, no, I'm good. You know, I was blocking their blessing.
Right.
And that was it's really hard for me to because I've been blessed. And I understand that I've been blessed and I'm in a better position than some people might be.
Yeah.
So for me to have somebody say, oh, here's $10 or $20 or whatever it was, just, you know, food, whatever, I felt like I was taken from them or robbing them in a way.
Right.
But in return, I had to understand that I might be blocking their blessing.
Yeah, so. And it was one way I had never even thought about it till my mother had said it to me. And it is a true thing. If you are receiving from something from someone and you feel it's sincere, accept it. Get over your pride. Push that out the way. Yeah. Because just like when you give, you're going to get a blessing in return in some way, some shape. You don't want to block someone else from receiving theirs.
That's good. Okay.
So Columbus was outstanding. One of my favorite things about it was, again, the cigar bar, but was just the people in general. And having such great conversations while I'm out there. You and I we're so big on communicating and just sitting, having conversations. That was one of my favorite things, and getting to meet some of the people that I got a chance to meet. Now, I'm going to let you guys know something. Not the biggest Buckeye fan at all. At all. Being from Michigan, not at all. To the point that there was one guy I knew who was a Buckeye fan, and we threatened to put him in a box and ship him out of Michigan to Columbus. And we weren't going to poke any holes in the box. But I don't know what it was, and I said I couldn't wait to talk about this. Either I'm getting older and getting more estrogen in my body because of what the government's doing to the chicken. But I had a softer sense when I was sitting in those seats. Part of it was I wanted to support my guy and his son. But the other part, I was looking around like, the stadium is this and the stadium is that. Like I was looking for seeing these little positive things. And say, oh man, you know what? I like this band. The band is really nice. Okay. Between the precision of the steps and everything, and just taking all that in, just finding these little positives about this school and this team that I've hated my entire life. Again, I don't know if it's all the estrogen from the chicken or what.
I think that we, as you get older, you just start to appreciate things differently. And while it might have been a rival school, you could appreciate what they had done with their stadium and their team. Like you had to show respect for their team.
And I was very impressed. I was very impressed. I walked around with a Detroit Tigers hat on, and it had the big Michigan on state on it.
Yeah, you was doing the thing, huh?
And I was just wearing it. I wasn't going out of my way. Didn't wear any of my Michigan State gear. Didn't wear anything else. Didn't say anything. Had a couple people kind of glanced up, but no one said anything to me at all. Everyone just was welcoming. And it was a ton of people down there, bro. So many people.
And when you said Midwesterners, or I think of Southerners in that same, where it's a more of a love that they have for people. In the North, in New York, we listen. 8 million of us. I ain't loving nobody.
Right.
But in the South, it's more of a calmer, and I guess in the Midwest, it's just a calmer piece than the hustle bustle of New York City.
You know what? You're probably right, because there's so many people from the South who migrated too.
Yeah.
Whether it be Detroit, Chicago, Ohio, Cleveland, whatever. So many of our people who migrated for jobs.
North,
migrated north for jobs.
Big three.
Yes, definitely. So you're probably right. Probably bring that very polite sensibility with them. Not quite as slow paced as the South is,
but not as busy as
that East Coast where you're talking about.
The
that
hustle, cutthroat.
So it was cool. Hit Mike Dawson's Buckeye. He's a Buckeye, played safety, and he was with the Colts. But he's doing some things there too, from some conversations I had in terms of business. And that was one of the things that I thought was very cool, was the amount of Buckeyes who I met who were still based up out of Columbus, and we're doing a lot of business in Columbus.
You know what I think? As somebody who didn't go to college, I think that we forget that most college towns still have they're college towns for a reason. There's ties to, because that's the pride that they have in the state. Is I went to the University of whatever. So there's a tie into it. For any college that you go to that pulls you in and has some tie. We talk about it all the time in business. Like, there's certain schools that you go to that when you graduate, all you have to do is say, "Oh, I went to."
Yes.
And, "Oh, that's such and such. Come on, you one of us."
Yep.
So, it does make a difference.
And you're right about that, because when you do talk about the college town, especially for the smaller ones, and that have that more of that sense of community. I can only speak to a couple of them. I haven't been to hit every college town. So if you got one out there, you would say that I should go out and check out a game, please drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Invite us out. Come on, invite us out.
Yeah, we'd love to come check you out.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking Ann Arbor, Michigan's, Columbus. And Columbus reminded me a lot of Ann Arbor in that manner. I'm thinking about Madison being another one of those towns, but you're right. Where the players and really stay connected to the community. I got all the memories flashing through. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget about anybody that was very, very nice to me. I met Eddie George, Heisman Trophy winner, bigger than I thought he was. I mean, and super, super nice. Very tall guy. Speaking of tall, Orlando Pace, Hall of Famer Orlando Pace, got a chance to meet him as well. Raymont Harris. Met him, and he gave me a little bit of his time and gave me some conversation and some advice and some wisdom, and I really appreciated that. And a host of other Buckeyes that I got a chance to meet too, man.
It sounds like it was a really awesome town. I love when you can meet people who pour into us. Like, I think now we're really have an ear more so than we might have as a younger individuals too, listening to somebody who has done it, or just is where, I don't want to say we're trying to go, but just has achieved some stuff in life that you're like, "Oh, okay, you figured it out. Help me to figure it out, so maybe I don't have to bump my head as much or stumble over some things."
You know what? I think, and again, comments, please, guys, comments. If you're watching this long, leave us some comments. The thing I think now, more than ever, is people who have knowledge are not as ready just to try to give it to you unprompted, because for whatever reason, they don't want to come off like a know-it-all, or maybe the last person they try to help didn't want to listen, or all those different things that I'm sure you and I have experienced when we tried to share. But if you ask, 9 times out of 10, I found they're more than happy to spend time with you and answer all of your questions.
We said it all the time. That's why we love the cigar bar, because you learn from people whom normally are super successful. And as you said, when you're sincere about asking, they're, "Oh, you want to know? Here you go." I remember when we met Richie.
Yeah.
He gave us tons of information on how to be successful that he didn't have to share.
Richie Incognito, former Bill, former Raider, retired NFL defensive lineman.
Offensive
lineman.
Miami Dolphins too.
Yeah, Miami Dolphins. Yep, them too.
Just again,
but he shared a wealth of things
freely. He was showing me his house and stuff in his house that he didn't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
And he just shared it with me. But anybody that we meet that's successful, I think because we're genuinely eager to learn.
Just curious on how you made it to where you got. How did you do it?
Yes.
Because whatever you have, give it to me.
You're not, because I don't think anybody is that much smarter than me.
So I remember having a conversation with this very successful, talking about the cigar bar over at Torch. This is a year or so ago, maybe more. And I want to say his name is Jason. Anyway, having a conversation, and I told him, I said, one of my fears I always have is that when I bring someone in, that if I show them too much of something, now they're going to take whatever and run off and start their own and whatever. And he kind of looked at me and smiled. He said, that's not going to happen.
What's for you is for you.
That's true, but that's not how he put it. He put it away at that point. He said, you know how much work it takes to do what you're trying to do, right? I said, absolutely. He said, so do the people who work for you.
Yes.
Nobody wants your headache. He said they want to come, they want to do their job, get paid by you, go home, take their vacations, be with their family, do whatever. He said it takes a certain mental headspace to want to be a business owner.
Yes.
And to reach for where you're or I've reached or whatever. It takes a certain type of person to do it. And most of the people you're going to hire don't want anything to do with it.
This is why I see so many people trying to be entrepreneurs. And I'm happy for them. But everybody shouldn't be a business owner. Because even if you, say it was a restaurant, and you had 15 employees and somebody, your assistant manager was a great dude, did everything great. His interpretation of your business plan is going to can't even be a carbon copy properly.
Right.
Because he's not you. He doesn't think like you. He's not going to visualize what you saw or see.
Right.
He's going to see, oh, these are the steps. But he don't know step 1 through 5. He knows 5 through 10.
And not only that, he has no inclination.
Yes, of the hard work of the 20-hour days, 7 days a week that it takes to run a business.
But you're right, because I've seen people try to do exactly what I went to him with. Not a lot of them, but I've seen them try to do it, and then they're like, "Holy shit! Wait a minute! I all I saw was what I saw." What do you mean I need this and I need that and I need this? Is what this seed money and that seed money?
I think I went to instructor school with 25 people, and all 25 were starting a business at the same time. If there's 1 or 2 of us left from that original 25,
right?
Even the dude I went to school with stopped doing the business. So again, it looks easy until you have to do it. Again, stand up. When I first met you, I said this story all the time. He said, "Yeah, I'm a comedian." I was like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." And then when I saw him, I was like, "Yo, dude, you're really funny. Like, you're really a comedian."
Right.
And I say that for anybody who has a business that's really doing a business.
Right.
You don't understand what it takes. The sleepless nights, the worrying, the hard work. Nah.
You're paralleling the business with the comedy, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump on that train with you, because you're right. When you're doing stand up, if you're really doing stand up, at a certain point you gotta, like with any business, this is all you can do. And eating or paying the light bill or whatever, you gotta figure it out, because there is no time to do this and do that if you really think you're gonna try to achieve whatever your dreams are with this. And so you're right. I talked about this before. I'm not sure if I talked about it on here, so you guys forgive me, and you too. But when I first started out, bro, you talk about being ramen soup every night, and the only other thing I got to eat was pizza. If I was able to take the leftovers from the open mic the night before or 2 nights before. Like sometimes as comics, we go to the mic not only just to do our 5 minutes, but for the food, because you're not getting paid. You're getting paid in greasy ass pizza. And for me personally, I haven't. You don't know greasy wings until you got them cheap greasy wings at the
refried grease from a week ago.
So, and this pizza, the cheese is just sliding off. off to the dough is just.
But you got to eat it because you're hungry.
You are hungry, and then you're like, all right, ain't nobody's gonna take this.
Yeah.
And you just take it and you put it in a little styrofoam, man, and you put it in the fridge, and you snack on that. You try to make that last for the next couple of days. It is rough going in the beginning, as when you're doing this. And I can tell you a million other stories, sleeping in cars and all kind of shit, bro. All kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. So
it is something, but doing the stuff I do now, being able to go on the road makes those times worth it. Again, getting to meet people like the folks I got to meet in Columbus made it worth it. Getting the information, the knowledge, just a couple of minutes of it with Raymont made it worth it. It was great getting to meet the people who came out to the show. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting. That made it all worth it as well. So that makes everything in the beginning, makes this all the more sweeter. So it was a great trip. The show, I felt good. I had to pepper them a little bit. This is one of the things I enjoy about doing it this long, because I have enough material. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you might get a crowd that may be a little bit tougher. And for anybody out there who's done this, all right, I got to switch up what I'm doing. And now I need to pop shot to try to find something that everybody is going to enjoy. And there's a lot of different reasons why that can be the reason that you have to do that. But it turned out to be a great time, man. And these last two trips on the road, Columbus and St. Louis, another favorite thing of mine was I don't get a chance to do it that often. So many black people to perform in front of.
Listen, I'm grateful to be part of the ride because I see the growth in each and every set that you do, and each and every time you perform, and each and every trip that you come back from when we talk, because we talk all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Is what you grab from it. Oh man, I didn't see that right away, but now I can see that this was a learning experience. This was some growth, and this was, to make me better as an individual, as a husband, as a missing home.
Yeah, man. Yeah, missing home for sure. I've never missed home. I'm someone who likes taking trips, and I love being on the road. Don't get me wrong. But these last couple, I did. I think I was gone just long enough to miss home to want to come back and sleep in my bed for a day or two before I'm ready to go back. But you're right about learning stuff, because going out to St. Louis, and I told you this before, that first night in St. Louis at Helium was a rough one for me in terms of attendance. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind saying it was lightly attended. I'm not going to lie to anybody. And so that was rough for me because I haven't had a show like that in years. Mm-hmm. And I was able to take that night and then get the great advice I got from Earthquake, and just saying, hey, man, just keep going. Mm-hmm. Just don't quit. I've had nights like that too, which made me feel better. And then the next night, it was bananas crazy, bananas good in St. Louis. It was great. And then to be able to take that and have the moment that I had in Columbus, where we had more people out, but it was just a different kind of show than I'm used to. But to have the experience from St. Louis to fall back on and to say, okay, let me handle this better than I think I did when I was in St. Louis.
Each and every time is growth in anything that you do. I think for me is even this. The first day we were like, the microphone was here, and then now I understand I got to keep it here the whole time. It's just the more reps that you put in, the easier it is, the more comfortable it is to do it. And again, from the first time I saw you to the last time I saw you, I'm like, that's my boy up there doing that thing. Like, I'm not just laughing because you're my brother.
Right.
I'm laughing because it's funny, hysterically funny in some spots. That and I tell you about every show. Like I'm the biggest fan, but I'm gonna tell you, that dude, please don't bring him back anymore. Or keep her. She's funny as hell, and I really like this person. I can see potential in them, and even the comics that when I first saw you go out, like I see them now, and I'm like, oh, I can see that they're working on their craft, or they're just riding off of that 1-2 jokes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this show at Deseret Improv, because I think I'm going to have another solid lineup. There's going to be people you've seen before, but I always like to bring them back when I see that they're grinding and out there really doing it. My girl Kat's going to be in the building again. Bree Geiger's going to come in from L.A. And do some time. My guy Ezra is going to come from the other side of the valley. Going to come over and do some time. It's going to be a really fun show. Savannah Hernandez, I'm happy to have her back on stage. And then my big little sister is going to come on in, August O'Neill, and do some stuff, man. So it's going
to be a good time.
I usually don't like that many people on the show, but I said it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's the day before Thanksgiving, man. You got to stack the lineup,
bring the
stuff
family.
it in there just like stuffing, just overflow the plate.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm so excited, so looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to the dresses and the outfits because it's Thanksgiving, so that the day before Thanksgiving, everybody gonna come out dressed to impress.
You know what? My crowds normally do a pretty decent job, especially the ladies do a pretty decent job of putting on something nice and coming out. Not too many of them just throw on a blanket and come and curl up. So I'm with you. I'm looking forward to checking it out. It's gonna be good.
Everybody gonna go out after the parties, after the comedy show
biggest
type of
night,
thing.
Biggest night, bar night of the year.
Yeah, so it's
Thanksgiving.
It's gonna be. They're gonna be out.
Thanksgiving.
They're gonna be out.
We were because we're gonna do the thing here. We're gonna jump to it real quick, but Halloween is coming up.
Yes.
So we won't see you guys. So happy Halloween to everybody out there. If you got kids, please, don't let them just eat the candy right out the bag. Yes. Check that stuff out first.
There's still some cuckoos out there.
Not us, but we will be out there in my driveway having a few adult beverages and passing some out to the parents.
2 or 3.
With the kids. It's getting bigger every year. I want to see how many people are out there this year. But Tamara and I started this when we bought the house. It started out with just she and I and a couple of neighbors, and then we started inviting you guys over and other folks over, and it's just kind of turned into something. I'm hoping it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But I'm really looking forward to this Halloween. And your thought on it was best costume that you've seen. And I was, in my mind, I was like, we talking about as a kid or as adults? What are we talking about exactly?
See, for me, I love the ingenuity of people that think of like a TV cartoon, like the monsters. Like, I don't want to just see the mask on and the Spider-Man suit. I want you to show me something that is creative that, oh man, I never thought of that. When the Minions first came out, you'd see somebody with, the different, not just a Minion costume, but they made it themselves.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my nieces did the Cars, the movie The Cars.
This year?
Yeah, they just did each car, and one of my nieces had a bumper sticker on her back that said the car's name. And I was like, Maverick. Oh, cool. So it was just something a little different than the normal. You go to the Halloween store and buy something. So for me, I love to see the kids in their costumes, just because of the joys on their faces, But I love to see a costume that people like, if the whole family has one, or mom and dad, or the kids and mom, just something that is like, oh, that just wasn't store bought.
Now, I should have went first because now what I'm going to say sounds horrible compared to your lighthearted Disney self over here. I like the sexy costumes, all right? So I ain't going to lie, especially when I was much younger and I was single. I don't care who you are as a man. You're always looking for the... I'm a little older than maybe some people. Like, I still have a thing for the I Dream of Jeannie.
The legs all out.
Oh, Barbara Eden with the little curvy waist and everything.
Electra. Well, not Electra. Elvira.
See, right there. See, you with me, Elvira. So those are more the costumes that I were into. The older I got, the less I cared about it. So that's where my mind has drifted back to, is being a single band. What were you wearing that appealed to my sensibilities for that given moment? And you're right about Elvira. I had the biggest thing. I had the biggest thing for Elvira when I was a teenager, bro. I mean,
I had to do that because my wife was going to watch this podcast, so I don't want to get in trouble. So I understand what you're saying, sir.
Those Elvira movies, I'll do it by myself.
Yes.
Those Elvira movies were some of the worst movies ever made.
Oh goodness, horrible.
And some of her acting is, I'm sure she would say she was not trying to win an Oscar with any of that acting.
No.
But man, the body was ridiculous.
Yes. let's to take from another show. Let's pivot.
Oh, you gonna pull your
I'm gonna pull a pivot card out because
no, man, get your chatting on. If you go to the pivot, get your chatting on now.
Oh, okay.
You got to talk about what did Chetty say to Kevin Hart about going to a island,
nudist colony.
A nudist colony.
Yeah.
The look on Kevin's face was hilarious. So that's where I'm at with the costumes, man.
Yes.
Obviously, when you get to be this point, you passing out candy to kids. Yeah. All I wanted to make sure is that these are kids taking my free candy.
Yes. You know, we were thinking about leaving a bowl of candy. But to that fat little kid last year who stole the whole bowl.
What?
And I caught him on the ring, and I'm like, put it back. He was like, no. And he almost fell, and I almost getting ready to crack up.
Did he?
Good fool.
Did he take it?
Yeah, he took the whole bowl.
Oh, so he did get it even though he fell.
Yeah, he didn't fall. He almost fell.
How old would you guess he was?
14.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Look, if you're over the age of 12, do not come to my house. You're not getting any candy. Unless it's towards the end of the night.
I give it to the big kids, too.
The candy's for the kids, man. Your grown ass look like you pay taxes.
Kids ain't eating all that candy. The mom and dad gonna eat it, so.
You got a mustache.
Yeah. See, that's what I don't like, is when you too old to be really trick-or-treating, and you still out here trick-or-treating.
Well, okay. What is too old to trick-or-treat in your mind?
Junior year of high school.
16, 17, that's when you think you're too old?
Yeah. You know, 13, you still good enough?
No, 13.
Yeah, I used to have I was so poor, we used to have a little black shopping bag.
See, that's why you think, that's why you think it's...
Snatch candy from the little kids.
Oh, so you want to make sure the age is out there so that
I can still get a little grace because, you know, I was taking the little candy bags until I learned better. But at 16, 17, you're too old to be out there. I don't want to see you with a job pulling up in your car, getting out. I don't want for some trick or treat.
Dude, as big as these kids are and as masculine as they look, guys and girls, walking up here with your raspy voice.
Yeah, hey, can I get some trick or treat?
No, get your ass away
That's
from me.
The only candy you got? Yes, you got some gluten free.
See all I can't eat this.
Can't have peanuts in mine. Wrong house.
Look, you can always tell which kids have home training, which ones don't, based on how they kids come up, just take a couple of pieces.
Yes.
And then
the whole hand.
Bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? It's 6 o'clock. Yeah, I got 4 hours to go.
Yes. It's not even dark yet, and you coming by because you know you got to be home because you don't know how to act. You need your Ritalin. Stop.
The court said you got to be
in the house by 8. And if you got an ankle bracelet, don't come to my house either, bro.
What, they can't come by? They can't come and use the bathroom?
No, absolutely not. No.
You can't. I don't let it. Oh my God. I do not like. One of the things I don't like is, again, we talked about this on the other ones, given just where we live, I'm just very cautious when people come by selling me things door to door. Like, I don't know what I just saw recently where I forget what city it was in, but they had one guy come up, knock on the door, like he was trying to sell something. Whoever will open the door, then 4 or 5 of them will come out of nowhere and rush in and push you in the house and rob you.
Which is why I always open the door with my foot against the door or holding on to my firearm. So that when you rush the door, you got what you got.
DavisMark.com.
Yes, sir. Come on through. We train you up right.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful. But yeah, I don't like these big grown kids, man, coming by for the candy. Yeah. But the costumes, I've never really gotten into them. I think a lot of that is because my mother never got into it. Yeah. And I can't say why she did or didn't. I only remember trick or treating a handful of times growing up. I remember going to Halloween parties and stuff like that. But I only remember actually trick-or-treating, going from house to house a handful of times growing up.
We trick-or-treated younger. And then, like I said, around 16, it was like, I'm not buying your costume. Absolutely not. You're too big to be out there trick-or-treating. Take your little sister trick-or-treating or take, your cousins. But at 16, sophomore, junior year, nah, it was the end of high school.
Yeah, well, definitely wasn't trick-or-treating in high school. Wasn't even thinking about it.
Doing gates night.
What's that?
Day before Halloween.
Who was? Oh, you did Devil's Night?
Yeah, we used to call it Gates Night.
Is that what you called it?
Yeah.
Gates Night?
I think it was Gates Night.
We called it Devil's Night.
Yeah, we was acting up.
Yeah, they were trying to burn the city down every.
Oh, we weren't doing that. We was egging stuff. We egged the car one day and thought it was hilarious. But this was young. We egged the car and it ran through the backyard to the next yard and then to the next street. And we walking, laughing.
Okay,
came flying up the street. We ran back through. And then when you cut back through, we was a couple houses up. So we ran back through the yard and it was a fence and it was dark. So you couldn't see the fence, and you just saw everybody running, and you saw somebody hit the fence and flip over, poof, or somebody hit the fence and fall down. So now you running and laughing and damn near peeing on yourself, and the car's still chasing you. So I think that was the last night we went out there doing Devil's Night or Gates Night. You know, the crazy.
I bet it is.
Yeah, because that was enough that he chased us for a while.
He put a hot rock in you.
Yeah. Well, back then, it wasn't probably that, but he definitely would have beat us up, hit us with a bat, something.
Well, back home in Detroit, they were trying to burn the city down. Anything that they could set on fire, they were setting on fire. Trash cans, vacant homes, whatever. They called it Devil's Night. They would be out. The cops were out in mass force trying to keep people from burning the city down.
We never had the burning up of stuff, but we definitely had the egging, the toilet papering, maybe the bad neighbor, we let the dog poop.
Well, you grew up in Mayberry?
Yeah.
Where were you? What?
I lived upstate New York when I was from 2nd to 9th grade. I was the only black kid. We used to get on the school bus. Everybody get on. All the black kids got on the school bus except for me.
What's that now? What, say it again.
Listen. At the end of the school day,
yeah,
the bus would pick up every black kid.
So they were busing in?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And they all left except for me.
Yeah.
So that anytime somebody got in trouble in the neighborhood, they was with that little black kid. Everybody knew it was David.
So what did you think as a kid when you saw all the other black kids being bussed in and bussed out? Did it mean anything to you at the time?
I didn't relate to it or fully understand it.
You say get your asses out of here.
Pull trash.
Hope your butts don't catch a flat.
Yeah. No, I didn't because I was that's just where I from 2nd grade to 9th grade. That's where I grew up at. So
right.
It was bye. See y'all tomorrow. See y'all on Monday. I was such a fixture in. Everybody knew me. Oh, that's David. Yeah, that's the little black kid who lives in the neighborhood. And for me, I didn't know I was the only little black kid in the neighborhood till I started to hear it later on.
How old were you when you kind of registered for you?
When I first got there, it registered because I had to do some things to make folks stop calling me certain words.
Okay.
And then it stopped for the longest. Birthday parties, when you didn't get invited to certain people's houses. That's when you realized, oh, it's different.
See, I don't think I went through that. I was just talking to someone about this in Columbus because we were swapping stories. And I remember for us, I think the worst thing that happened initially was that neighbors down the road would come down and do like donuts in our yard. We had a big piece of property we were living on. And my stepdad at the time ended up jumping in his car once they and chased them down the road and ran them off the road.
Okay.
And they never came back again.
I bet not. That'll learn you.
But other than that, and having and I'm going to use his name because he manned up years later. But Kevin Collin, called me the N-word freshman year of high school. Outside of that, it was no. And I say outside of that, not because that wasn't a big deal, but when we first moved there. That summer we spent not knowing anybody because we hadn't started school yet. All I had was the worst thoughts in my head from seeing movies or what people said. They're going to burn a cross in your yard. All these different things, which none of that happened. So to me, having just those two things be the only thing was like, wow, that is so light compared to what I hear other people's experience were going. And hearing you talk about not being invited to things, we never dealt with that.
It was worse when I moved back to the city. Because 9th grade, I moved back to the city.
What part of it being worse, you mean?
That's when I really didn't get invited to stuff, that I realized I wasn't invited. I had what considered my best friend in high school.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm trying to keep up here. So when you were living outside of the city and you're the only black kid.
I thought I was invited to everything because wherever I was, everybody else was. So when I didn't know about it, I didn't know. But in high school, you start to understand when everybody is going to what considered my best friend's birthday.
But this was back when you moved back to the city.
In the city.
Okay.
In the 5 boroughs.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, you're having a birthday party." I was like, "Dude, what's up?" And he was like, "I don't know how to tell you this, but my mom doesn't know you're black." Now I'll call his house every other day. We talk. "Hey, Mom, how you doing? Hey, David, what's going on?"
Wow.
And because I didn't talk hood, I guess she didn't know that I was African American.
Yeah.
So when he told me my mom doesn't know you're black and you can't come, for me that was like the first real shock that there was a difference. And this was in the 5 boroughs. So I was like, man, it's this. I didn't get this when I was living and the bus was picking everybody black up. I didn't know that it was different.
If anybody knows my face here, I was thinking about how segregated I have always been told that New York is in terms of your different boroughs and how you guys stay kind of separate, blacks and Italians and so on and so forth. So is that something, is that not the way it was? Because that's the way I've always heard it to be.
Yes, but it's like Brooklyn is cut up into different places. So for folks from here, it would be like Peoria versus Glendale or Maryville. Okay. So in Maryville is a certain group, and in Glendale is another group. So in all of the boroughs, there are sections that are kind of chopped up. Manhattan is not really, except for anything lower than Harlem is all folks that got money, and everybody above Harlem is black or Hispanic.
Okay, so what is Harlem? It's in itself today, though.
Now it's gentrified,
right?
So it's a mixture of folks, and but it's still, the higher up you go is more poor. Okay, so Manhattan is chopped up into wealthy and non-wealthy.
Okay, I didn't realize that about Manhattan. Yeah. As someone who's never visited New York, I thought whenever I hear Manhattan, it seems like I always hear people speak about it as if it's the upper scale folks in New York are in Manhattan.
For the big part of Manhattan, I'd say yes.
Okay.
Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx are all sections of those boroughs have Italians, Chinese, blacks mixed up, depending upon where it is.
The only time I can think about growing up as a kid that I ever felt I was not wanted was when I dated a couple of girls in high school. Like, you were always okay to the parents, not to say all of the parents, but to some of the parents, as long as you weren't dating their daughter.
Yes.
And so I had a couple of times where I dated a couple of daughters, and that's when I kind of found out my mom, my dad won't like this and that type of thing. But until I dated them, I had no idea. The parents were great to me.
Yes.
Until I was dating their daughter.
Yeah. Again, when I was in the younger grades, I spent the night at friends' houses. Never had a problem hanging out with them, eating dinner with their families. I was part of the family. Right. Oh, that's David. He's coming up. Yeah, he's going to spend the night. You're going to go over to his house. Occasionally, different religions had different rules. Yeah. And that's when you kind of understood. But I don't know if it was my skin color or just that I wasn't that religious.
Excuse me. I don't think I dealt too much with the religion. Religion never played a part in anything for me when it came to friends and things like that, except for to kind of bring us back, oddly enough, to Halloween. Mm-hmm. Because you had some friends who grew up in household where they were super religious. Yes. And there was not going to be any Halloweens at all. I had some friends who were Jehovah's Witnesses. We're not doing Christmas up in here.
Nothing.
So birthdays was another one. So when it came to stuff like that, yeah, you got I saw a little bit of that, not a whole lot of it, but I do recall certain times when it felt that with friends. But Halloween is still one of my favorites, man.
I enjoy giving the candy out. I'm not really a Halloween-y fan. More Thanksgiving and Christmas. I like the festivities of both.
More Christmas than Thanksgiving for me, but Halloween. I don't know why it's such a big thing for me. I don't know, probably because I'm into the movies and
not a scary movie, dude.
Well, that's probably there it is.
Don't scare me. I'm the wrong person to scare.
So I'm gonna tell this story. So I didn't know this. So one of my best friends growing up, his older brother, I had no idea, was afraid of clowns, and I didn't know till we were all good and grown. And I found out because his birthday was rolling around, and they were like, "Yo, we got," and I'm not gonna mention his name, but they were like, "Yo, we got him a cake." I'm like, "All right, that's cool. It's got a clown on it," and I'm like, "That's a weird thing." Yeah. And he's afraid of clowns, and so the think about this guy growing up in the streets of Detroit, East Detroit. Growing up hanging around some folks that your parents normally wouldn't have let you hang around. Mm-hmm. To think that this dude was afraid of anything, let alone clowns. So when he comes in and they've got the top of this box closed.
they popped it open on him?
When they opened this lid, and I want to say it was the clown from the It movie.
Okay, so it was a little bit
Pennywise. Mm-hmm. When they pulled that open, he froze. And he just started walking backwards from me. I was dying. I've never seen it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I'm afraid of. And that's God's honest truth. You would have thought that clown had pulled a gun on him or something. He was that afraid of it.
Heights for me. We went to Horseshoe Bend.
Okay.
And I'm by the edge. Maybe 20 feet for me, which was close enough to the edge for me.
Yeah.
My daughter's 2 feet away taking pictures, her and Jamie.
Yeah.
Come over here. Absolutely not.
I don't look at heights the same way as something like that, though.
Yes, because I could actually hurt myself.
Yeah.
The clown can't really hurt me.
Yeah,
so again, nothing, like you see the skits where they have the clown coming out against the four dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong person.
Yeah.
I wish a clown would jump out on us. And what? Thank you. My wife been irritating me. I need to get some of this energy out. Boy, please.
Not that day, and not my guy that day, boy. He wasn't no part. And we were all cracking up.
Yeah. He didn't think it was funny though.
He couldn't even speak.
Yeah.
Until they closed that lid on that box.
Traumatized to this day.
And he wouldn't have about it.
Yeah.
But
I know I don't like them clowns.
Oh, boy, 100%. 100%.
Oh, the thug went out.
Bob. I had known him since we were 13, 14 years old. So
didn't know he had a scary bone in his body. Huh?
Over 20 years I went not knowing this dude at that point in time was afraid of clowns. Yeah. Had I known,
we'd have been.
I'd have been clown. I got his ass a long time. We'd have been clown. Because he got me one time. So they had this Doberman, and this dog would just go nuts, go nuts. Anytime. And so I'm sitting in the living room, and they decide. And my oldest brother did the same thing to me and my brother one time. They come in with this Doberman, and I see it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And the dog gets loose and starts running towards me, stops, and just starts licking me. And everybody in the house is surprised by it. You know, and to this day, I can't keep a dog from liking me, I guess. But I couldn't imagine clowns.
Yeah, that's a weird one. But I mean,
could you imagine not liking clowns, being afraid of them, and a little kid shows up dressed as one for Halloween? Take all the candy.
Yeah, throwing candy at the kid. Boom, boom. You know. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like scary movies. I'm just never really
love them.
You know, I'm like, nah, I don't like to be scared. I don't like to go bumping the night.
Never ever.
Strange noise. Never ever. Even roller coasters. Scariness.
You don't like coasters?
Nah.
Oh, it's a lot, man.
My father took me when I was a little kid. We went on a slide cone in Coney Island. And in the front car. And I'm going up and I'm fine. And then we hit the top. It was a wrap. Matter of fact, I took my sister. My father let us go into the fun house, and it was scary. Dracula took us in. No, Frankenstein took us in, and Dracula was in the coffin. So Frankenstein is like, look, and he's talking to us, and I'm like, I don't want to see Dracula.
Yeah.
And he said something, and I looked at Dracula, and Frankenstein disappeared. And I was like, oh, shit. Dracula popped up. I'm out. My sister's in there screaming, help, help, help. My father was like, go in there. I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to give you a whooping. Well, then get to whooping.
I'll take that.
Take that whooping. I'm not about to go back in there. I told you I didn't want to go in there to begin with. So me in scary places, nah, I ain't never been one. Like, you go through the haunted houses. Yeah. People pop out on you.
I love that.
No.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you this story. It has nothing to do with Halloween per se, but it scared the shit out of me as a kid. So I might have been 6, 7 years old, and I'm taking a bath. And my mother says, all right, well, make sure you wash your hair and grease your hair and brush it before you go to bed. I'm like, all right. I'm in here just playing. I don't even want to be in there. I'm just in here messing around. So I finished in the tub, didn't wash my hair, didn't grease it, didn't anything. Went and jumped into bed. Now, my parents' bedroom is right across the hall from mine. I shared a room with my brother at that time. And I'm sleeping in my bed, and I'm sleeping with my back to the wall. And I have this dream that these hands came out the wall and grabbed me by my hair, bro. And took me out into the hallway. And I was like, one hand held me like this. And I'm standing there screaming, calling for my mother to wake up. She's just laying there sleeping. And the other hand went.
You got the grease. Grease your head.
Bro, I'm going to tell you something. It was a couple of years before I would sleep with my back to the wall again, bro.
Yeah, and I bet you greased your hair every night you had.
You bet your ass I did.
So you won't be getting me in my sleep.
I don't know. I think so. That's what I tell people. I think I've had a conscience my entire life. Them hands came out the wall, man.
That was your mom. Told you to grease your head.
She must have slipped something on me, man. Maybe had that dream, but yeah, no, I've never ever not. I love that stuff, man. Yeah. Speaking of costumes, see, I'm getting better with these segues for this thing. Grandmama, Larry Johnson.
Yes, sir.
On All the Smoke.
Yes.
You got more information out than I got, so I want to hear everything that you heard when you watched the episode. But where I had kind of wanted to start with Larry Johnson for people out there who don't know. At one point in time, Larry Johnson was the best power forward in NBA. He was the man. Had the shoe, Grandmama. If anybody remembers commercials, if you don't, you can YouTube them because that's where you're at right now watching us. So he was guest starring on TV shows. I mean, he was everywhere.
Yes.
Played at UNLV.
Yes, sir.
They were the Running Rebels was him
and the Plastic Man, Stacey
Augman, Greg Anthony. I'm missing some other guards I know, but the Tark.
Yeah.
Jerry Tarkanian.
The towel.
Biting that towel all the time, coaching that squad. But they were it. They won the title one year, and then they came back the following year against the same team, against Duke. And everybody just knew that the Running Rebels was going to smoke them again because they blew them out by 30 the year before.
Yes.
They ended up losing that game. I don't remember by how many points, but UNLV ended up losing that game.
2 points. It was a really close game.
And so Larry Johnson was on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and he shares a story where he kind of says he's said this a million times that he was taking the weight of them losing that second time that they were in the championship against Duke on himself because he was just lollygagging because they smoked him by 30 the year before, so on and so forth. He could have taken that last shot. He didn't. He passed it, and all these different things. He took the weight of it on himself. When you checked out just that segment, and I want to get into some other parts, but just that part, just that story, did you agree with them? Where were you at with it?
At first, I didn't fully understand it. But then when they show how he brings the ball up, and he had a shot that he should have taken, but he didn't take it. Again, he was the man on the squad. So you take the shot. You win or lose by your shot, unless you're triple teamed. And he went into how he was thinking about the NBA draft. He said, I really wasn't in the game the way I should have been in the game. Mentally. You know, and he just was like, I was there, but I wasn't really, you know, I didn't give it my all. Which is, in retrospect, mighty big of him to admit that, you know, in the biggest stage of his college career, so to speak, he choked.
I remember watching the game because to this day I hate Duke, and
yeah,
only player I liked on that team because I grew up playing point guard was Bobby Hurley.
Oh, Grant Hill.
I was not a Grant Hill Christian lady. I didn't like any of the rest of them. Not that Grant Hill wasn't Grant Hill, and who knew Grant Hill was going to be what Grant Hill turned into be, and no one knew that till Leitner left. You know, it was the Christian Leitner, Bobby Hurley show for the most part, and everybody else was on the periphery. In terms of the amount of attention they got until Leitner left and Grant Hill, we got to see what he truly was, and he became a Piston, and he was outstanding when he was a Piston. That first step was just nasty, just dunking anybody anytime.
Gave you the business.
But I remember watching that game and being so upset that Duke won that title, and thinking the same thing. How did this happen? Y'all just smoked them by 30 last year, and it's been a conversation forever. Then I remember hearing, once I saw this interview, and I was thinking about you and I talking about this today, I said, oh, I remember the rumors. And I don't think I'm the only person who's heard these. So again, if you made it this deep into the show, comment, please. That there was some gambling involved, allegedly.
Because I'm sorry to cut you off, but
go ahead.
Talks about Tark, and he was hanging with mobster dudes.
Yes.
He goes into detail like he was that dude.
Yep.
So wouldn't surprise me that if there was more to it, but he didn't really. He took it all on him. So maybe there's more to the story, but he just took it on him as I wasn't thinking about it, and I just didn't perform as.
But here's my thing: even if he doesn't perform, that team was loaded.
Yes,
that team was loaded. I don't think a half-ass moving Larry Johnson keeps that team from beating Duke.
Well, Michigan, because remember, UNLV was Michigan before Michigan was Michigan.
You talking about the Fat Five?
Yes.
Yeah.
So same thing with them in the loss that they had was they were loaded. There was no way they should have lost that game.
Yeah, they shouldn't have. But you're talking about in UNLV, a team that had already won the year before and brought that core, I think pretty much the entire team back the next year. And smoked everybody all year until you get to Duke.
I think they was undefeated.
Bruh.
35 and some crazy number. They were.
I mean, I appreciate Larry, and I have no proof of Larry. And when I get to meet you, I'm not going to accuse you or anybody else of anything.
No. Larry a big boy still, even with the bad back.
It's not because of your bad back and you're old and you're big. It's because I don't have proof. If I had proof like Geraldo proof, well, better than that kind of proof. Because Geraldo, I'm still waiting for that damn Al Capone safe, whatever, the vault to be open.
The vault is open. Nothing in there.
I hate to do this. Has a group of people in terms of a TV audience been ripped off more by a man than Geraldo? Geraldo always supposedly.
I never did.
And nothing ever.
Nothing ever transpired. It was, you were like, that was a big letdown. Let's try it again. Because he had like 4 or 5 build-ups.
Yes.
Well, we're going to do this. And then you watch it and you're like,
If David Copperfield did a magic show on CBS and he didn't make the Statue of Liberty disappear like he had promised, we'd boo.
Yeah. Geraldo, we got the boos.
And speaking of booing, can y'all stop booing at these rallies? Stop booing. It's stupid. It makes me laugh though. Every time I hear someone boo, I say, boo, hiss, boo, kill him.
Why are you going to the rally? Again, if that's not your crowd, why are you going there?
Well, no, they boo whatever they hear name. Like if so-and-so says someone else's name, boo.
You know what irritated me? Side segue. I know we didn't say we were going to talk about this. Deshaun Watson getting booed.
Okay.
I understand he was playing bad, but that dude still got hurt. You know how much non-compassion you have to boo an individual?
It's funny you bring this up.
You could have booed him the week before. Because he played bad enough to be booed, but not it hurt.
I talked to people in Columbus about this, and a lot of them like, he should have been booed. They gave 0 F's about this man being booed.
It still was, anytime somebody is hurt, like, that takes everything else off the table.
I can't say that.
He booed him the week before.
I can't say that.
He played bad enough to be booed. I get it. But he got hurt.
You know what makes it even worse? And I'm a fan of this man. To see Jameis Winston come in and play 10 times better than Deshaun was playing. Yes. And I love Jameis. I've loved Jameis since he was at Florida State. Yes. I wish he would get a shot.
Yes. Or at least do what he got to do when he gets the shot.
I was about to say, get a shot and do something with it. You know, I loved him even with the crab legs.
No.
When he was still in the crab legs, he ain't steal nothing. They gave him them crab legs.
Yes.
But Deshaun, I asked when I was in the cigar bar, what did you guys think about that? And not all of them, but some was like, I was all right with him getting booed. I said, well, what about the chant of "you deserve it"? They said that wasn't real. They said someone got a copy and layered that over the top. They said they didn't chant. They're like, I got people who were there. They say they were not chanting "you deserve it." But the boos, they say, were real. And I don't have a problem.
It's just hard to see somebody hurt and you cheering somebody's pain.
I don't mind it.
Cold-hearted.
I never claimed to be nothing else. I have no problem with it. None. Boo, boo. Get him up out of here. I guess I could probably be a Philadelphia Eagle fan. Was that Philly that they booed Michael Irvin or they cheered when Michael Irvin got hurt? Was that Philly?
It might have been. Philly, because Philly's rough, though. Phillies are hard. Like, listen, there's certain places you go to the stadium. Yeah. Like the old Radiator Stadium. Yeah. Philly Stadium, like, you better put your strap on.
Well, the fighting is one thing, but they threw snowballs at Santa Claus in Philly. Yeah. And they cheered when they rolled Michael Irvin off the field on that stretcher because he hurt his neck. Yeah. So they have no F's either, man. They give no love.
At certain places I understand it. But Cleveland, y'all ain't been shit. So why?
Whoa. I just got done talking about the Ohio people, how great they were.
But football team. He ain't been nothing since Jim Brown.
I don't know how they let Flacco go. I don't know why you let him go.
Because he's 85.
I know, but Flacco played so well for them last year. I would have kept him just in case.
Yes.
But it's a good thing they went out and got Jameis.
Yeah, they needed somebody.
Just in case. Because Deshaun, I don't know if he's just shot or if he's got too much going on off the field.
Because he looked, I thought it was going to be a really good fit for him.
But
he never fit since he got there.
This case is rolled out on him, and I think and then he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's somewhere new got to take him, and he'll be able to bring back his old, but he hasn't looked a shell of what he used to be.
Well, we'll see what happens because I was talking to some other cats down there in Columbus, and we were talking about Deshaun again, and we're hoping, we as them, they're like, we're hoping that they can get out of this contract.
Yeah, a medical waiver?
Moral. Because there's another case that came out not too long ago.
But I think it's from when he was still getting massages.
Yeah, but still, but the moral clause though, they can just get from underneath it, and because I think they owe him close to $100 million still.
But he already got like 300 already. So.
Yeah,
but it's good.
If I did, I still want my money.
I ain't mad. If I'm Deshaun, go ahead, keep your money. I'm good.
And the way he sat on that little cart crying.
Yeah.
See, you go hard. Look at you.
There was a little, but again, I haven't gone through what he went through. So, again, and to hear the boos, that made it even like, man, I'm hurt and y'all booing me? Man, I've been trying. I got a horrible quarterback, so I don't feel bad for the team with a horrible quarterback.
Wait a minute. Trying? I hope that wasn't trying. If that's the best you got, bro.
Listen, he looked bad.
Give him some retirement papers.
Bad.
I retire. I get him for.
When Flacco looks better than you?
Flacco looked really nice last year.
Yeah.
Deshaun looks horrible.
Yes.
And I don't know why he looks so bad, but he looks shell-shot.
The only quarterback looks worse than him is
Anthony
Charlotte's quarterback.
No.
I always thought he was going to be a scrub.
You talking about, well, Bryce was on the bench, so I can't even say.
No, Bryce played, I think he played
He had to play last
Sunday.
week because Andy got into a car accident.
Yeah. The Red Rocket.
I thought.
Dude like 86 too.
I thought you was going
still playing better than him.
I thought you was going to say the Indianapolis coach.
Oh, well, I mean, they put him out there too soon.
He tapped out of the game last because he was tired. He was out of breath. So he just got benched for Flacco. so they just announced that today. They showed. I saw the video this morning of him tapping his head, and they asked him in the press conference, "Why were you not in that play in the third quarter?" And that he said, "Because I got tired. I was winded. I needed to come take a break."
Bruh.
You are 22, 23. What you doing out of breath, bro?
Yes.
What you doing
like you're a professional athlete.
I don't care if you 22, just get off the couch. What are you doing out of breath? This is not bitch his ass.
I don't think they think about the stuff that you can't take back.
Who knew you was a big softy? You can't boo somebody. Boo.
I mean, booing them because they're playing bad, yes, but because you got hurt, nah.
Boo.
Classless.
When I was at the Buckeye game, they started throwing stuff on the field because they were upset with the refs. The kids started throwing.
It was a closer game than I thought it was going to be.
It was Ryan Day, boy. He needed to be coaching for his job because you know who was there? Urban Meyer was there.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and they'll take him back.
Urban was there.
If he don't, did they play Michigan already?
They haven't played him yet. That's the
if
last
he
game
lose
of the
to Michigan again,
he's gone.
Bro, he's gone.
Bro, he's good as gone.
He's gone.
Because
Michigan stinks.
Yeah, Michigan is not. This is not their best year. If you're going to get them, you better get them this year.
Yes.
But if you let Michigan have the time to get better and better and better, they can probably give you a game.
Yes.
Come to the end of the season. Michigan State, my boys looked good. They came close to beating Michigan, so they're getting better with each game with that new coach. So I like that. But I was talking to some of the fans there at the Buckeye game. Ryan Day needs to be coaching for his job.
Yeah.
Because they're going to run him out of town if he doesn't go deep into the playoffs or he loses to Michigan.
Yes.
And they just itching. I'm sure they're just itching to call Urban to come back.
Yes. Or some new, because he hasn't won a big game.
Not the games that they were
Not the games that he should be winning. So, but that's the same thing with Michigan's old coach. If he wouldn't have won the year before, I think that's why he left. He wanted him, was like, I need to get out of here because the next team stinks.
No, I think he left because he probably had enough.
Yeah.
They had made him take a pay cut, one. And I'm sure he had it rough coming out, Jim, and I'm a Harbaugh fan because he's a good coach.
Yes. Went wherever he went.
Yeah, but for your alma mater to be that hard on you, and I know Ohio State matters, and you can't keep losing Ohio State. He knows that too. But to do that to your own Michigan man and make him take a pay cut, I know he said, "I'm gonna get this right, and then I'm out as soon as I get a chance." And he gave him a national title.
Yeah, again, he gave him everything that they asked for.
Can't say nothing. I'll leave.
Yeah, I would have left too. Again, as bad as they look this year, I don't know if he would have made that much of a difference for the team. I still think that they're a mediocre team, so he might have given them another win, but they still aren't.
They got a ton of players that graduated and went to the league.
Yes.
So you're right.
Defensive line.
Yeah. So they're definitely starting over again. But if they can get Ohio State,
then I think that they're running after the game. He's gone.
Brian.
He's gone after the game, like a mid-season firing.
Bro, don't even come to the office, bro.
Yeah, just matter of fact, you can't get into the bus.
You're elevated to head coach. You'll be taking us through the bowl season.
Yes.
Then you don't even
because I think they're almost guaranteed the playoffs, or at least a bowl game.
Yeah. I mean, where they at right now? What is it? 8 teams, I think they're getting now, right? Is it 8
in the top? Yeah, I think
the top 8. I can't see them not getting that. Unless something dramatically crazy happens. Yeah.
As long as they don't lose another game, they're in.
But that Michigan, because they weren't happy about the game that they lost to Oregon, even though Oregon's a good team.
Yes.
But you know how fan bases are. We don't expect you to lose anything, no matter how good the other team might be.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes. But back to the Larry Johnson, we talked about what he talked about in terms of that game against Duke, but you had brought up a couple other things he said. Which one kind of fascinated you the most?
He talked about a commercial that he had coming out, or was going to come out, with Magic Johnson and potentially Larry Bird, both of them, that I thought was going to be really, if it would have came out, it would have been an amazing advertisement with Bird and Magic as doctors performing surgery, making a super NBA player,
almost like a Frankenstein type situation.
Yes. And Larry saying his name needs to be Larry, and the other one said Magic Johnson was like Johnson, Larry Johnson, and then he was going to pop up, and it was going to show him. Again, if you don't know who he was, one of the true power forwards when they were power forwards.
And super, you know who he reminds me of, or who reminds me of him? Zion.
Yes, and that was a comparison that he used, is that he was just so big, so strong, and could jump so high, and be so much more athletic than a lot of other power forwards. Mm-hmm. So, because usually a power forward was like 6'11", and I think he was only like 6'7".
Yeah,
6'8".
He was more of a much stronger looking, but more like that Charles Barkley.
Yeah, quick. And Barkley, I didn't realize wasn't as big as he was.
Yeah, he's not. Or wasn't.
But he was just, and he talked about an experience with him and Barkley, and he was like, Alonzo Mourning blocked his shot. Mm-hmm. He was like, get that trash out of here, keep it. And he was like, no, stop. And then he said it was over with. Barkley hit like 18 in the fourth quarter on him.
I'm a big Alonzo Mourning fan, huge Alonzo Mourning fan. I remember watching Alonzo when he was at Georgetown, block a guy's shot, and then he just stepped on this dude's chest and stepped across him. And I was like, oh, that's my kind of guy.
They had Larry, I think Larry Graham with the bull-headed dude. They had a squad that wasn't scared of nobody in Georgetown.
Who you talking about? Who?
Was it Graham? The bull-headed. He was like a forward.
You're gonna know better than I am of that squad. I just remember Zoe for the most part.
Yeah, they had some goons that wasn't afraid of nobody.
Well, that was back when the coach back then, he liked them big physical. That was back when the Big East was the Big East.
Yeah, that's when it was if Syracuse or UConn wasn't winning, then
Syracuse, UConn, St. John, Georgetown.
Yes.
Who am I missing? That was out of that.
Villanova.
Villanova was another. Yeah,
it was the Big East was the beast of the East Coast.
Yes,
and then it was really Cali, or the USC or UCLA.
Yeah,
had pretty good squads, and maybe Texas might have.
Yeah.
But Michigan State, they were always.
But the Big East was that conference back.
Yes, we went deep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was trying to remember all of those squads. Larry Johnson was a monster. Again, check him out. If you've never seen any of the footage, go back and get some of that UNLV stuff. The running rebels, they were up and down, lobbing, dunking.
Yes.
Like Stacey Augmon was my favorite player of that squad.
Yes.
The Plastic Man, as you called him.
Listen, offense and defense.
Yeah, and that's why I liked him so much. And I thought he was going to have a bigger career than he did when he got drafted by Atlanta. He did. But I like Stacey Augmon.
Yes, he always his game transitioned more to the NBA to me than any other player that played for them. But I don't.
I thought so too. But Larry Johnson just kind of took off though.
Yeah, even Greg Anthony had a long career, surprisingly, because I didn't think he was all of that. But his tenacity, I think, made him a stronger player.
But that squad, up and down, up and down, up and down. They were loaded.
The running rebels.
Running Rebs. Another good pod, bro. Another good pod.
Yes, sir.
Enjoyed it. Thank you for coming on through to the office again, knocking down another one. Again, guys, check the shows that I have coming out on my website.
Yes, sir.
SidneySmithCreative.com, CRE8TIV. I'm headed out to Grand Rapids with my guy, Pete Lee. Can't wait to do that. He is fantastically funny. You guys are going to really enjoy him. And then there's me, and I think you guys are going to enjoy me too. One of the best things when I get a chance to work with Pete is that we're both so different. On and off stage, but our comedy is different and our personalities are so different. So I think people kind of get a best of both worlds when he and I get a chance to work together. So looking forward to going to Dr. Grin's and then back here, the night before Thanksgiving at Desert Ridge Improv. And I'm going to be pushing that hard and heavy. So hopefully you guys get tickets for that and come on out and check that out. And don't forget to go see my guy and Justin over at davidsmark.com. Go over there, sign up. It's actually pretty reasonable to take the class. So if you're in the Phoenix market or you're coming in, it'd be a great time for you to jump in there and get that taken care of.
Come on out, have a great time. Have some fun.
Absolutely. You guys have yourselves a happy, safe Halloween. Remember to check that candy. Don't let the kids eat it. And then if you don't have any kids and you're going to be out, make sure you turn on turn off the porch light.
The porch light, yes.
So like little gremlins like Dave was over here aren't over there doing stuff to your house.
Yes. We don't have to come ring the doorbell and be sitting there looking stupid while you're not home.
This has been this week's drop. You guys have yourselves a good week, and we'll see you next one.
Deuce.